Happy early Thanksgiving and welcome to Queen Things. This is your November bonus episode. I'm releasing it a day early. I didn't want to release it on Thursday because Thursday is Thanksgiving Day. And I figured if I release it on Thursday, y'all might be knee deep in turkey and stuffing. So we're releasing it Wednesday. Happy early Thanksgiving. This is your bonus. And I'm excited to get into a lot of different things, which I think is going to be the theme of Queen Things going forward. So I'm excited to talk about all of them with you. Let's just go ahead and jump in. So before we dive in, let me just say this. I am going to release a teaser, something I used to do more in prior seasons. So if you're hearing this and you are not subscribed via Patreon or Apple or Substack, you are hearing a brief teaser just to give you a sense of what the bonus content looks like. I will say at the end of this episode, I'm going to be sharing kind of a more personal update that I am not yet ready to share more broadly. I really would like to. In season 4, my goal really is to not only build out the podcast under our new branding of Queen Things, but to really create more of a community with the bonus content where I feel more comfortable sharing more details, being a little bit more personal. That is my goal for the bonus content. I actually thought long and hard, like, do I still want to do bonus content? Because it's a much smaller subset of people who listen and who are subscribed. And sometimes it can feel like I'm going to do the same amount of work to put out an episode that far fewer people are going to listen to. And sometimes that can feel like, does it make sense? And I think what would make it make sense for me is for it to feel like a real community. And I hope it can feel like that for some of you as well. So that's going to be the goal. And I will be sharing something a little bit more personal towards the end. So if you're hearing the teaser, you're not going to hear that. You can decide if that's incentive enough for you to want to join. But if you do want to join, patreon.com, you can find me an Apple subscription or head to my Substack, KJ Off the Clock. All the bonus episodes go over there. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get into the episode. What are we going to be talking about today? 3 main things. The first is Wicked. Obviously, hello. I'm a theater girly. Obviously, we have to talk about Wicked for Good. I saw it last night. My husband and I went last night, saw the movie. Spoiler alert, loved it. A lot to talk about there because reviews have been mixed. And I want to talk about some of the reviews that I'm seeing, critiques that I'm seeing. That's number 1. Number 2, my husband found this amazing article. I was not aware of it, about the woman loneliness epidemic. It is on Cosmo. And the headline of the article is, hold on, does anyone care that young women are just as lonely as men are? I was not aware of this article. He came across it and sent it to me. I read it. First of all, I thought it was beautifully written. It's literally from July. Okay. So it's not even new. So I'm sure some of you read it a long time ago. I had not, but it's very compelling. I want to dig into that a little bit. And then finally, I want to get into Black news, which is really just going to be KJ news, but I'm Black, so it counts. Okay, let's start with Wicked for Good. First of all, it has to be said, and I have already said it over on TikTok, Cynthia Erivo's No Good Deed is so stupidly good. So I'm irate. I get angry at how good it was. The moment, I don't know exactly which moment it was, but there was a moment while she was singing where my husband and I both sat forward. And you have to understand, we're both singers, a cappella, theater nerds. Okay. So we are in our element where we both sat up in our seats, sat forward. Okay. Because we were like, let me get closer to Cynthia while she is singing this song. That is how good it was. It pales. It's a burden to think about how good it was, honestly. And what I said in my TikTok was, if I see Cynthia in the street, I probably am going to have to cuss her out. Probably. I don't want that to be what I have to do, but I think it is what I'm going to have to do because it is the definitive version of that song now. And I know there are going to be some Idina Menzel apologists out there who are going to say, no. She originated the role. Her version will always come first and foremost. Okay. If you feel that way, I love that for you. Truly, I do. She did originate the role. Kudos to her. Fantastic. Cynthia's version, that is the version as far as I'm concerned. Her opt ups on Fiero, and then also the opt up at the end, every choice she made. And I felt this way about Defying Gravity as well. And I felt this way about The Wizard and I. And I felt this way about I'm Not That Girl. She makes just such good choices when she sings. Every choice feels so impactful, so meaningful, so purposeful. You're like, yes, of course this character would sing it this way. Of course she would opt up here. Of course she would pull back here. Of course she would lean in here. Of course she'd be angry in this moment. Of course she'd be sensitive in this moment. Every vocal choice she makes feels so considered and so full, luscious. It is. I'm running out of words to describe it. I have to start with that. I think if I didn't start there, it just wouldn't feel right to me. Okay. So that's number one, her version of No Good Deed. That's what I came here for. Okay. To me, the price of admission was worth it just to hear that song. She more than delivered. And as I said, if I see her in the streets, I'm gonna have to cuss her out. I have to. That's that. Okay. Let's start there. But I am seeing mixed reviews. And to be honest, while I can understand some of them simply don't make sense to me. Okay, so I have pulled up a review from NPR. The title of this is Wicked for Good. This all could have just been one good movie. Okay. And this was released on November 20th. And it's from Aisha Harris. Now, Aisha Harris is a co-host on Pop Culture Happy Hour. And I will just, be very honest. I tend to disagree with Aisha far more than you might think. She's a Black girl who loves pop culture. I'm a Black girl who loves pop culture. Maybe on the strength of that, I would think she and I would be more aligned more often. I often disagree with her. Now, does she make some good points here? Here's what I'll say. The large premise is what she says in the title. It could have just been one movie. And while I can see that point, I'm going to have to say I disagree because there is nothing I would have taken out of part one. Every single part of it, and I rewatched it yesterday in the morning before we went and saw part two. There's not a single part of part one that to me, I think should be taken out. I think it does such a good job on world building, on character development. Obviously, the songs are phenomenal. The set pieces, it creates a bigger, broader world for Wicked than the stage play does or can. Like the stage play obviously can't. We're talking about, it's almost like going from 2D to 3D in some ways, right? So there's nothing I would have taken out of part one. And honestly, if I were going to offer any critique of part two, it's that even though it expanded, it does take the second half of the show and expand, it almost still, some of it feels a little rushed. Like I could have spent a little bit more time understanding why the Cowardly Lion felt the way he did, understanding how Box transitioned to, the Tin Man. And they did give it more time. To be clear, they gave that more time than the stage play does, and I still could have used more. So in my mind, unless anybody wanted to sign up to watch a 7-hour film, I disagree. I mean, I think the total runtime between the two ends up being 5.5 hours. There's nothing I would have decreased, and if anything, I think I would have added a bit more to part two. So I would say her premise that it could have just been one film, I disagree with. Now, she does make a point in the article about the 2 new original songs that are added. Basically, she says they don't really add much other than runtime. I'm inclined to agree. I don't think there were 2 original songs, Elphaba's There's No Place Like Home and Glinda's The Girl in the Bubble. Neither of those songs to me added that much. They weren't bad. I wasn't mad at them, but they didn't add much. And to me, if you're going to go to the trouble of adding a song, it should feel the way Beyonce's Listen felt in Dreamgirls, which was huge moment, huge vocal, it just was okay, I understand why you added that. And then when they went on to bring back Dreamgirls on the West End, they added the song because they were like, yeah, it's that good of a song. I don't think anyone's going to be clamoring going to going to Broadway talking about, oh, how come they don't sing The Girl in the Bubble? I don't think anybody is going to be saying that. So on that point, I would agree. It felt like you guys wanted to be able to submit something for best original song at the Oscars. That's to me what it felt like. And so those two songs, I would agree. We didn't need, I'm not mad at them, but we wouldn't have lost anything had they not been included. But I disagree with the overall premise that it needed to just be one show. Some of the other critiques I'm seeing are that, you know, this second part just doesn't feel as like big and bombastic as part one. And it's like, no, it doesn't, because it's doing a different thing. As John Chu himself has clarified multiple times, this isn't a sequel. It's a part two. It's a conclusion. And so a lot of it is concluding. The world building was largely done in part one. Now in part two, they are continuing on that world building, but almost like uncovering what we didn't realize was fully happening in part one. It's not going to feel as big and bombastic. We're not getting the giddiness of a what is this feeling, or a Popular, or Dancing Through Life. Those are big, giddy songs. We're not getting those numbers. Everything is much darker, much more somber, but it needs to be. It is necessarily that. And as a result, I think we get more from Ariana Grande, which I appreciated. I feel like her character is far more developed. That end scene between her and Cynthia, just so sad when they're like separating from one another. Oh my God, so satisfying, so emotionally crushing, but in the best way, you know? So I've seen the mixed reviews. For me, I just thought it was very, very well done, very, very well concluded. And I thought Cynthia Erivo remained untouchable, unparalleled, unbelievable. I was blown away by her, continue to be blown away by her. And I just highly recommend it. I can't wait to watch it again. I think I'm going to probably see it again this week, maybe like right after Thanksgiving, maybe go out and see another showing of it. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I won't be able to wait until then. But I'm very, very pleased. I thought it was fantastic. I'd love to know you guys' thoughts. What did you like? What did you dislike? I, for one, thought it was extremely well done. Oh, you know what? Before I transition to my next topic, let me also just say this about Michelle Yeoh, and I said this over on TikTok as well. I truly don't understand the critiques about her singing, because there is so little singing for her role in the movie and in the original. Like, there's so little singing to get hung up on that. Like, no, she's not a great singer, but her role, that's not what we need from Madame Marble. What we need is a fantastic actor. Michelle Yeoh is that. I thought she was very compelling. And to me, I'll be honest, this is me being very honest with you. I feel like some of the critiques about her singing, they're coming from, it just feels like they're coming from a very smug subset of like theater nerds. And I am a theater nerd, okay? But a very smug subset of theater nerds who are just like, if she can't sing, then like this is such an abomination to musical theater. And I don't think that. I really don't. Not every role in a musical to me needs to be a phenomenal singer, particularly if what carries the role isn't the singing, but the acting. And I think they made Madame Marble's character, John Chu made the choice to make this character bigger outside of the singing. And to me, the character resonated in a way, the evilness of the character resonated in a way that didn't come across as compellingly in the stage play. So I don't know. It just feels like a very smug thing to be like, if you can't sing, you can't be in the role. Okay. I would understand if she had even one full, real, genuine solo, but she doesn't. She doesn't, and she never did, because that's like not the point of this character. So whatever. I think Michelle Yeoh was very brilliant, very compelling. I very much enjoyed her. I really don't think we lost anything just because the 4 lines she sang weren't sang perfectly. We have Cynthia and Ari for that, okay? And they more than delivered. Cool your jets. By the way, I'm drinking rosé. Started my Thanksgiving drinking. The goat wine, that's what I call it. It has a real name, but from Trader Joe's. It's the rosé with the goat on the label. I'm just here to tell you it costs like $10, maybe even less, and it is so good. It is my go-to rosé, okay? Hashtag not sponsored. But if you have a Trader Joe's near you and you also enjoy rosé, look for the goat wine. Okay, let's get into topic number 2.